she's going to pull up. Probably not going to be the first one to extend. Probably not going to be the first one to extend. But if a player does, okay. Just be aware that there's some sensitivity to officials touching players. Just be aware of that, okay? Okay. So we got the teaching point on that. Coverage, positioning. Coverage and positioning was covered in the video. Let's go through some, I have some video clips to go over this, but drives originating from the C to the lead. C is responsible for the play all the way to the basket. If the C has a close look at the defender, do not guess and trust the lead to referee the defender. Here's what's happened with that very basic statement. We talked about for several years, you need to own your primary. It's almost like you have a tremendous obligation to get plays in your primary. To the point where, if you have a closed look, you almost feel I'm obligated to have something in here because it's my primary. But let's be honest here. If you don't have an open look at the play, you have to trust the system. If you have a closed look, and remember, in the center, when those drives occur out of the center, how is it going to give you a closed look? Well, it's usually that offensive player that gets in front of you, the dribbler, and all of a sudden you have a closed look. So don't guess, because our system will allow help on those plays, with help from the lead and possibly the trail. Drives originate from T to L. The lead is responsible to play when the ball enters the lead's primary coverage area. Drives down the lane and below free throw line, below the free throw line. The lead is responsible to play all the way to the basket. Coverage on drives down the lane to the basket. This is all in the mechanics manual. Lead has primary responsibility for block charge plays. C and T have secondary responsibility. Lead has primary responsibility for plays at the rim, with C and T having secondary responsibility. And the last one, C and T have dual responsibility when a player pulls up for a shot or a pass, and I wish we would have more of those plays. The pull-up jump shot. What we have now is people going to the basket, right? They're driving all the way to the basket. So you're going to challenge on the block charge play. Let's take a look at some coverage video that enforces this. We have a drive down the lane. Look at that. Great discipline by the trail and the center official. It's a good job. Right down the lane. Leads has the call. No need for it. We didn't need a center and a trail calling this, did we? All right. Drive down the lane. Our center official jumped on the play a little bit. We have our lead whistling it as well. Are we going to get double whistles, you guys? Sure. Is it? Yes. Is it going to happen? It's going to happen. So it's not like, oh my gosh, we had a double whistle. It's you recognizing whose primary that is, who should take that. And I will tell you something that I think we need to be aware of. This whole design of the three-person system and the switching was designed so that if Violet and Andrea and I were working, and Violet made the call of the lead, she's going to switch out, and I'm now going to be in the lead. So when we go down the court and come down here, I've got the lead. But if we keep giving the play up to our partners, they're closer to the table, and you have to know when to do that. But what's happening, what we're starting to see is you're giving it up all the time. It's a younger official, and they haven't been at the table, and so the next 10 calls, if you have a double, you're going to give it to them. That means you come down the floor next time, Violet's going to be in the lead. All right? Next time, Violet's in the lead. So let's make sure that we understand this. Your double whistles are going to happen. The primary official, that's the one that needs to take it to the table, unless they make a judgment that you should. Okay? That should not be happening as much as it's happening. Any questions on that? Last one, look at it again. Our lead has a whistle.
I still think that's a C.
All right. Drive from the center with an open look at the play. Good eye contact. The correct official took that to the table. Recognizing they had a good open look at the play, great call here. Nicely done. All right, this is a close look at the play. Drive from the center. Has a close look at the play. You see why she has a close look at the play. That defender is coming more from the lead side, that strong side from the lead. What we would like, what would we change on this play? We would like the arm to come up here, rather than there was no foul signal. It just went bang on the hips here, and then communicate. Make sense? So these are two good examples of you have an open look at the play from the center, and you have a closed look at the play and how you handle it. Restricted area. We talk about where the lead needs to be. Dribble drive from the C&T. From the C&T, trail and lead must position adjust to help. Dribble drive down from the strong side, center, and trail must position adjust to help. Help can be for the LDB or the RA. Where we're not getting help sometimes from the center official. Why is that? Okay. So we come down the floor and we have a strong side drive where we got to drive right down the lane, and the center in transition as the center is coming down and setting up. What are you thinking about? Where is that secondary defender going to come from? It's going to come from your side. So what's happening is, it appears from video that this center official is refereeing the block charge play on the other side. Not picking up that secondary defender. They're refereeing that primary defender. So they don't pick up that secondary defender. Really? You guys, the trail and the lead don't need your help on this. They're going to get this play. And if they do need your help, guess what? You've been over there watching the secondary defender the whole time. So you have it all. You got it all. But if we get surprised on, well, I didn't see it. Well, my question is, what were you doing for the last 10 seconds over here? You need position adjust to pick up that secondary defender as they're coming across. Okay? Because I'm going to guarantee you, 90% of those dribble drives, they are going to the rim. They're not going to stop and pop. And if they stop and pop, then fine. You got the elbow point of contact, elbow to wrist, you're going to get that. Right? Okay. Court positioning. In our game, we need to make sure our lead rotates with pace, accelerated pace when needed, rotate with a purpose. When in doubt, rotate. And those are all the positions for the lead. We haven't changed any of that. If you position yourselves correctly when the ball comes down the floor, either the middle or on the, if it's the middle of the court, you're at the close down. If it moves over to the C side, that ball's hit. You're going to rotate, or if it comes down slightly left of the middle, you may go to the pinch paint. If it's outside that, then you come down and set up in the close down position. You mirror the ball. If you position adjust and in the lead, your rotations will be sharp. If you don't, you're going to be late, and that causes a problem. Lead is not to rotate. You're going to try or drive to the basket, because that screws up the coverage for everybody, especially on rebound coverage. Areas of intersection. Primary official must stay with the ball and play until the ball play clearly leaves her primary coverage area. Good eye contact, be aware. Can the lead official stay in the post when the ball goes below free throw line extended? Yes. So the trail has to be aware of that. And I have seen great improvement on that. People are very aware of where their partners are looking. Eye contact and body language between both officials in areas of intersection is key. Coverage of three-point try. This is important, and I know each camp across the country covered this. Why is it important? Well, we have the drives to the basket, and then we have 3-point shots that are going on in our game. And so from a standpoint of statistics last year, we increased the number of 3-point attempts by 1.5 per game across the country. They're shooting and attempting more 3-point shots. Now, it doesn't matter to me if it goes in. I'd love it to go in. But we have to be able to referee the attempt. And so there's some basic things that we have to do. Position adjust if needed to referee the defender. Keep your head up to referee the illegal contact. You make a position adjustment, you drop your eyes down to pick up the 3-point line. Use peripheral vision to locate the line. Take the shooter up and down. The landing space is important. Now adjust for rebounding coverage. That's critical. I'm not going to go into the rebounding coverage because Violet is going to cover that in her breakout session based on that particular play. Let's take a look at some video first. Let's take a look at this play from a different angle. There's your foul. We had no call on that first play. The official could only referee the 3-point line. There wasn't a position adjust to referee the defender. So that position adjust has to be strong. And it has to be where you see it coming, you pick up that defender, you're able to take that play up and down. This is an old video. This was a 2-point ball game, and the team that was down was the one shooting the shot. And it ended, so 5 seconds on the clock. So we missed this play. So let's take a look at what that position adjust might look like. Right there. See from the baseline. Now this is not new, but it's good to see. Here's what was fun for me this year to put the video together. It's a tremendous amount of work, but here's what's fun. I'm showing more plays where you are doing the court coverage correctly. That is, when I did the post play several years ago and the monitor, I talked about they should have done this, they should have stepped that, blah, blah, blah. And so it's tough to teach with that. These are great examples of people using our court coverage. Kudos to you, and kudos to the coordinators. It's impressive, people. So let's take a look at this play for a landing space play. Took that shooter up and down, refereed the defender, she was not allowed to land. And let's talk about the 2 plays that you're going to get in the 3-point shot. This one, that defender was pretty close. And it's pretty much this, what you saw on this tape is what usually happens on a defender that's pretty close. She's either going to foul her up here, because she's right near her, or they're going to let that shot, and she's going to turn or step, just maybe step. But a lot of times they turn, and then she can't land. Okay, so you have that one. But when that ball, maybe it's a zone, and they swing that ball, and you got a super 3-point shooter here, and now the ball swings back. That defender has to close. She's too far away, right? She closes, and she'll probably hit her as that kid's coming down and go right to her. So it's critical that you stay with that player, the offensive player and the defender, and bring her down. But this is a good example of that. And the other thing, the last piece I want to talk about is the trail coverage to post. And that ball goes below free throw line extended. The league picks up the ball. We know our trails to go in the post. That's our coverage. Has been for quite some time. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So when it's done well, it's sweet. Picked up the ball, goes into the post. There it is. Very specific on that. Good job. Resuming play. This is important. Sweep the floor. Count the players. How many of you count the players even if you're not the one bringing the sub in, or if you're, how many of you, on your crews, does everybody count the players? Yes, you should. It isn't that you don't trust, it's just, let's just make sure. Okay, that's good. Check the table, check the clocks, court players. Officials must be patient and look to see that the play is ready to resume before placing the ball at the disposal of the thrower in. The resumption, don't forget, resumption of the play procedure must be used at all times except to start the second half or any extra period. Disqualified player. How does something like this get in here? I will tell you. We were at the mechanics meeting, and one of the coordinators said we had an issue in the conference tournament. And it was late in the ball game, and team A A1 subbed out. And A's supposed to get the inbound. So A subs out. B is going to get it. So A subs out. And now, B now gets the ball. Okay? So B gets the ball, and they're in the 5-second count, and there's a foul committed. No time has gone off the clock. A1 comes up to sub. Can she come in legally? No. Right. Now we all know that. 5-10 seconds to go, post ball game. So now A's going to get the ball back. They want to get her back in. So now we have a disqualified player, the one that just fouled. So we have a disqualified player. So they communicate the disqualified, and they bring this one in. Because she's sitting there. They'll bring her in. But nobody picks it up. Of course, when do they pick it up? After she's halfway to where she's going to go, then it'll go, All right, so now the official goes over and what's the issue. We should know, but we don't because, we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. But at least we caught it. So now we go over, and now here comes the coach. Because the coach is confused because they don't know that rule. So there's this talking. Now the official on the other side of the court is like, what is this taking so long? It's going on longer than 15 seconds, 25, 30. So that official calls a technical foul. By that. So it was a mess. But the rule has always stated you get that first horn. But they never asked for it because the sub was there. So if you had that first horn, that official could have communicated to the coach, Wanda, I need your sub, because we have 15 seconds, otherwise it's going to be a technical foul. Well, Wanda might send it up and say, okay, fine, but I'm going to want to know this rule. I'll get to you when I can. You're going to communicate. So it's critical that you get that horn. And remember the second horn. Remember it was the second horn? If the sub had already been brought in, you didn't need that second horn. That's the horn you didn't have to have. Make sense, everybody? Okay. I just don't want that to happen to anybody in this room. Get together, particularly late in the game, and give actionable information. We talked about this last year. You need to be able to communicate, because some of you are going to have a better feel for the game. Your crew chief's good leadership, but don't forget you're going to listen to everybody on the crew. Actionable. If you're going to say, well, it's 1 minute to go, June, and we're going to have to step it up, that doesn't help me. If we need to talk about, who's going to, who potentially to take the shot, what kind of play they may set up, where are we on the fouls, is there going to be a take foul, all those kinds of things. Make sure we check the clocks, all that kind of stuff. End of timeout period. Discuss end of game situations. Remind coaches to manage the control the benches until the final horn. This is important. Let them know how many timeouts they have. We've got one left, that kind of stuff. But also, make sure you say, keep your players in the bench area. That's critical. Just a few reminders. Out of bounds. Call the color of the team that's out of the ball. Point. We got out of bounds here. Here's the court. Out of bounds goes this way. Here's what we're seeing. Your hand's not going to come out. It's not going to go flying. You don't have to watch it. Okay? Your eyes on the floor. Fouls. Officials shall raise up here. Foul. For sure. This gives you an opportunity to let plays finish, gives you an opportunity for the computer. It also communicates, I've got a foul here. Our signals are important every time. Communication example, all right. We have some people, some officials, and I don't like to mess with officials' mojo. Really don't. So some people go like this and say, this means immediate timeout is coming. Some people, as they're running down the floor, follow you. Or we have someone that's, and this is an acceptable signal here. We want you to indicate it's my shot. But here's what's happening. I'm going down the floor, and I'm refereeing with Penny, and I'm going to Penny like this. We got a timeout coming. Now all I'm doing is looking at Penny. Now there's play going on right now. But, and we have some people who are really, so what we're saying is, give the signal, you know it, and if the ball goes out of bounds, and Penny, maybe she would or shouldn't, I can get the timeout. But you come down the floor and you're hitting your chest, you're looking at your partner, I have the last second shot. Well, if I keep looking at Penny, I will not have the last second shot. It ain't going to happen. So those kind, all of a sudden it's the 2 minutes, and we got people doing the 2-minute signal. Okay, we're going on the top. So we're not saying, here, whatever, but don't forget what you're supposed to be looking at is the players, because that's when you miss stuff. That's really important. Okay. 10-second backward, we talked about that visible count. Signals, we have new signals. Where do we get these signals? Thank you. Thank all of you. We watched you. You always lead us to what the signals should be. It starts with you. We're sitting at the mechanics meeting and go, what should the signals be? And I said, well, here's what we're seeing. All right, so we have the option to advance. We didn't give you a signal, but you got together and said, Coach, do you want a 30 or a full? And I said, 30-second timeout. Okay. Would you like to advance the ball? Yes. 30-second timeout. Boom. And the other official walked over and said, we're going to advance the ball. It's great. You did a nice job. So it's now formalized. Chucking the cutter or displacing the post player with forearms. Here. There it is. This is what you've been doing. And I guess there's a problem in the book as we're describing it, because this is really parallel to the floor, correct? Is this parallel to the floor? What would perpendicular look like? Well, we said perpendicular, so don't do that. All right, so it's parallel to the floor. We'll get that changed in the book. All right.
Is there motion on that signal?
Yes, checking the cutter, and it explains that. Just here. Yeah. But if you went like this, it would be okay. We are not going to zap you for not doing that. I'm glad you called it and got this out here. And if you thought it was two hands, then you did this. Okay? Okay. Rebound and foul staying here. We saw what you did. You've been doing it for years. Here, here. We would prefer here and here. This, remember, restricted area. I know you didn't do the block, but we really want it here and this thing. Okay? All right. Good communication with partners. Everybody knows we're staying here. Okay. Any questions? All right, Stina, you're on.
Keep going back.